Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about hundreds of thousands of cars that Subaru has recalled. Yes, over the years, Subarus have had problems with head gaskets because of that boxer design, automatic transmission failures, lots of things. But these are actual recalls that they had to recall the cars to get them fixed. Subaru has to recall 400,000 of their vehicles because they put bad valve springs in the engine heads. So on these 400,000 vehicles, Subaru has to replace all the valve springs. Well, you got to tear the whole engine apart that. And that is like a 12-hour labor job. According to Subaru's own statistics, this is going to cost Subaru $434 million in profit that they're going to have to throw back to fix these things. But there's even a catch on that. I have seen people have these Subaru engines taken in, put all new valve springs in, 12-hour job, taking the engine apart, putting it together, and then within a few months, the engines blow up while they're going down the road. And of course, the Subaru dealers try to say, oh, well, there's something else wrong with it. Come on now. They took the engine apart, put it back together for 12 hours. They obviously didn't do a very good job. And here's a reason that this will often happen these days. Because here's how warranty work works at a dealership. I'm showing you how parts are replaced in the car. In this case, it says 1.6 hours is standard for doing this particular job. But look at this. Manufacturer's warranty. 1.2 hours. They pay less to the mechanics who are doing warranty work. This information comes from All Data. It's an information system that everyone uses to decide how much to charge for a job. So let's face it, this is the last thing you want done when someone is rebuilding your engine. It's a very intricate process. Things have to be done perfectly to within a thousandth of an inch or even less. You don't want a guy who's like, I'm getting paid less than I normally get paid, so I'm going to rush through this job as fast as I can. Of course they're going to screw up when they do some of these jobs. And then engines are going to blow up. You know, it's just stupid to pay people less to do engine work. Okay, if they're doing something simple like changing the fan belts or, you know, putting brake pads on, but not rebuilding an engine. And unfortunately, this recall also includes those Toyota 86s because, as I've talked about before, the Toyota 86s have Subaru engines in them. Toyota doesn't make them. I think it's a mistake when one company uses another company's engines. Then it makes them look bad because their cars have to be recalled because the people they're buying the engine from didn't make them right in the first place. And it's not like Subaru hasn't had engine problems in the past. Everybody knows they have a tendency to blow head gaskets. Why Toyota decided to use Subaru engines today, that's one beyond me, but I guess it's some deal they got going back in Japan. And this recall also includes some of the Scion FRSs. Of course, Scion, they don't exist anymore. It was just Toyota trying a different name. But then again, they were putting these Subaru engines in there. If you ask me, big mistake, Toyota. Now we're talking Subaru and recalls. Well, a bunch of the Subarus are under that Takata airbag recall. Now you can't really blame Subaru on that, but they're not getting very good luck because as of January 2018, only 29.5% of these airbag recalls have actually been performed by Subaru. The Legacy and Outbacks, 49,000 of them were recalled because of an improperly machined steering column that could result in loss of steering control. That is really serious stuff. And that same year, 592,000 Outbacks and Legacies are recalled because the plastic cap that covers the windshield wiper might melt and you lose your wipers. Be great, you're going down the road, it's raining like mad, you got your wipers on, then it melts and they stop. I mean, these guys have quality control problems. There's no arguing that. Heck, in 2014, they recalled over 600,000 vehicles because their brake lines were improperly built, and if they get contact with salt water vapor, they could go bad. You know, we're talking about a company that has a history of problems. Now, historically, this wasn't always the case with Subaru. I've got a customer who's moving away from Houston now, but 30-something years ago, he was nuts about his Subarus. He had moved to Texas from up north, and he loved the four-wheel drive aspect. And he had an early one that was a four-cylinder. It was a standard transmission, all-wheel drive, and he loved the vehicle. Then he moved away again out of Houston, and I didn't see the guy for like 20 years. And he came back here because he said, hey, I've got a house in Maine. I'm going to be living up there for a while. Check out my Toyota for the trip. And I said, hey, I thought you were a Subaru man. He said, yeah, the last Subaru I had was really great. But he said, after that, they started making junk, and I went to Toyota. This is a private individual. happened to be more or less a scientist, and he really analyzed stuff all the time, and he gave up with Subaru a long time ago. He really loved that early Subaru that he had, but hey, he realized Toyotas were a ton better. Because really, Subaru started as kind of a fringe company. They made a certain amount of cars, not all that many. People liked them that lived in the mountains and went skiing because they were all-wheel drive. But then when they started to ramp up production and sell more cars, hey, they made a lot of mistakes. And as I said, hey, I feel Toyota made a mistake using these Subaru engines in some of their cars. It's a company with a history of problems. Why would you want to deal with that when you're Toyota and you make great cars that don't have engine problems? Why would you put engines from another manufacturer with a history of engine problems in your cars? It's going to water down your brand. At least for me, if I bought a car and the engine had problems, had to bring it under warranty, had to take it all apart, put it back together again, I would never buy another one of those, period. Subaru is recalling 1.3 million, yes, million cars in the United States because your perfume may affect your car adversely. I'm not making this up. It turns out that perfume, certain fabric softeners, and other aromas contain a silicone that can wreck the brake light switch on these cars. Somehow the silicone that's in these aromas can attract to the contact switch on your brake switch on your pedal, cause it to corrode, and then the brake lights don't work. And of course that's dangerous can be at highway speeds. If your brake lights don't come on when you stop on the brakes, some guy behind you on 75 might slam right into you. So they had to recall 1.3 million cars for this. And the weirdest thing is these silicone gases only affect some models and not others. Subaru doesn't comment on that, but that makes it even weirder. I mean, let's face it. If the perfume someone's wearing affects the electronics on the car, that kind of make you wonder about who's making these things. And valve spring problems in an engine? When I was a young mechanic, yeah, engines would wear out, have valve spring problems because the metallurgy wasn't as good. But today, the metallurgy is excellent. They have much better metals. They know how to make valve springs better. Having a failure on something like that, that's inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. So now you know the truth about a bunch of Subaru recalls and why I'd say stay away from Subaru. Because it's a competitive world out there, there's plenty of good products out there. Why buy a bad one when you have a choice of much better ones? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.